Hi guys, Sanbanani. I hope you guys are good. Welcome back to another video. I know it's been some time since I've released a video. In fact, this is like my first proper video that I'm recording in, let's just take it to 6 months. It's June and yeah, I'm asking Kanti, why did I all of a sudden create a YouTube channel and I'm still not producing enough videos for my viewers? And I noticed that, yeah, sometimes it's fear and being laughed at, especially for me. I always have that thing where, because I decided to adopt like an English accent, I have to have some sort of knowledge or a good vocabulary, or else people will be like, that's lame. But yeah, some of it is fear, some of it is just not understanding why I'm doing YouTube. You know, we all want to be monetized and I want to be monetized, but my reasons for doing it are not aligning with what style or videos I want to produce. So yeah, here I am making another video. However, this video is not about me just not being on YouTube. It's something I've been thinking about for a very long time. And I had this conversation with a friend last week when we went for a park run. I was basically telling them about emotional intelligence and how we tend to neglect it, how we don't take it serious. And it's a very fundamental part of our lives. You'll understand why as soon as I just try to explain it. But like, for example, in my country, we are having challenges of GBV. Now they even call it GBVF, or you never hear of GBVM, but it's mostly GBVF. That's basically femicide, and I don't know if I'll be flagged for saying femicide, but basically it's killing of women, abuse, and abuse of children. However, the main focus is just women, abafas. And you notice that there's something very crucial that we are undermining here in terms of everything, and that is emotional intelligence. The reason why there's GBV is because men themselves don't know how to control their emotions. They don't have a baseline of emotional intelligence. The same for women. I mean, I don't want to sound offensive here, but the perpetration of this GBV has to start from some source, and most likely, most of the time, it's the ladies that are causing it. I don't want to say 100% all the time the women are causing their own downfall or their own abuse, but to some extent, there's a perpetration that comes from the female side, and then it is, expressed. Then the result is the man becomes angry for whatever reason and then starts to abuse, and eventually, sometimes killing. So emotional intelligence, if you look at it from a psychological level, you have to see that it has to be cultivated from a young age. For example, I was reading this book by Daniel Goleman, Emotional Intelligence, and I saw a lot of challenges a lot of things that people face in the adulthood, and it's basically from childhood. This book basically gave a lot of examples of how a single child, just being socially inept, not being able to socialize, not understanding the social construct or wherever it is, not understanding the room, not being able to, wanting to engage with other kids, is the problem. And that's because, some of them are not being taught, some of them are just being ignorant of their parents, and there are many factors. But basically, emotional intelligence has to start from a young age, where the funo tassel is kati. Look at me speaking my language now. But you have to take the time to be able to educate your children, for example. And as they grow, they have to find that time to educate themselves about emotional intelligence, whether it's from books, studying, or being in social circles where you can get to engage and where you can get to test your emotions, because that's very crucial. There are disasters disasters. There are disasters that people can essentially prevent if they understand their emotions. It's not easy, I know. It takes time, but it is what it is. I mean, emotional intelligence is a lifelong thing. You can't just ignore it or learn about it 1 year and then leave it. And other years, you have to learn about it for life. You have to be constantly understanding that, okay, this is how I feel. How should I react? Is it socially viable to react this way in front of people? Is it viable for me to react this way? We all have to ask ourselves, and basically, by asking ourselves, we have to sit down and understand ourselves. Basically, everything is about self-control and mastery. If you can understand the mind or understand your thoughts, everything about you, you can basically dictate how you want to live your life. Yes, some things obviously they're out of your control, and you have to understand that. What's the word? You can't take care, or you can't control everything basically. So you must understand that in life, there are certain things you will control and there are other things that you can't control. That is part of it. That is part of the game of life. And the basis of emotional intelligence, again, you have to know yourself. You have to be self-aware, and then you have to have self-control. That's important, because if you don't have that, an individual or a collective group will continue perpetrating violence, abuse, killings, all things that are just unnecessary for society. Guys, I feel as if we can really do better. If people want to read this book, they can just go out and buy this book. This is not a promotion in any ways, but I think that a lot of the things that human beings or our societies are really struggling with is, or can be found in this book, Emotional Intelligence. It's a book that came out a long time ago, but I believe that it's still relevant now, and it can tell us a lot about why we act the way we act. You can learn about emotional hijacking, cognitive control, all these certain aspects. I feel as if everybody can get a copy of this book, our society will be better and everything will just be brilliant, or the way it's supposed to be. Wow, quite nervous actually. But I lost my train of thought to some things. However, I just wanted to share that. I mean, not for the sake of just making a video, but just to make people aware that we should not underestimate emotional intelligence. A lot of the GBVs, especially in my country, are happening because of a lack of emotional intelligence. And if we, as a society and individuals, can find time just to cultivate those soft skills, truly, and I say truly, our society will become better. But it is what it is. There's always room to do better. There's always potential to be our best, our utmost best. So that's what I'm gonna say. I don't know what you think. Let me know in the comments if you disagree or agree with me. And please, guys, also be honest, because hey, my dude, try to improve your speech sometimes, because you sound there, but you can't fully express your thoughts or whatever you want to say. Just be honest with me as possible. Comment, let me know what you think. And I'll see you in the next one.